Hello everybody. In this video, we will try to understand Krittika Nakshatra. So, if you observe Bharani Nakshatra, Bharani is a group of three faint stars. So, every Nakshatra is a group of some stars. Similar to that, Krittika Nakshatra is a group of seven stars. So these seven are bright. Basically, we will talk much more about these seven bright stars in our next part of the videos. So Kritika, if you observe, it is a seed of solar energy. It is a sun's nakshatra, and if you see Kritika nakshatra, it is ranging from 26 degree 40 minutes of Aries to 10 degrees of Taurus. So basically, Krittika Nakshatra's first pada is in Aries, and second, third, and fourth pada are in Taurus. So Krittika is a sun's nakshatra, it's a seed of solar energy. And if you observe the meaning of Krittika, Krittika means the one who cuts. It's scissors basically. It's cutters. So it's a direct and straightforward name, right? Without much confusion. Krittika means cutting. So the cutters is basically, it's mainly related to the feminine aspect rather than a male aspect. It's a feminine energy, and the seven Kritikas, basically the seven bright stars that are representing Krittika Nakshatra, are the seven Kritikas who are the seven wives of the seven sages. So these seven sages generally look after the affairs of our galaxy, and the seven Kritikas are their wives basically. And its main symbol is axe, razor, or any sharp edged instrument like a blade or knife. Anything can be symbol of Krittika Nakshatra. So the symbolism, of course, obviously relates to its name. So it implies cutting and penetration. So all sharp instruments can be used for both constructive and destructive purposes. If you observe, a knife, for example, can be used for cutting vegetables or killing someone. So in the same way, Kritika's penetration can be used for cutting through the superficial layers of mental and emotional functionings. So Kritika people can they can penetrate into your heart, something like penetrating into your heart in the sense it's not physically. They can understand you very deeply. They can observe you very deeply, and they can understand you better. So that is the penetration of Kritika, penetration power of Kritika in the emotional levels. So it can be used for the kind of penetrating into your heart and understanding your emotions. This behavior they can use to play. If they have some bad placement somewhere in the horoscope, they can play with your anger. They can play with your enmity, right? So its destructive aspect is constructive in a universal point of view as well, right? If they have some good placements other than so other than the Kritika's energy alone, if they have some good positive energies, the destructive power basically they use for construction of something, is for good purposes. But when they have some bad placements, of course, they can play with you. They can play with your anger, enmity. They can actually they use the kind of penetration power they have uh, for their personal uses, or they will try to play with you. Basically they will if they are bad, you can understand what they can do, right? So a flame of any type is another symbolism of Kritika. Um, it's an association of Agni. You can see whenever you talk about Kritika, you talk about Agni. It's a lot of Kritika basically. Just like Yama is the lord of Bharani Nakshatra. You can say Agni is the lord of Agni, or the fire element is the lord of Kritika Nakshatra. So peacock is another alternative symbolism for this nakshatra. It's just because Kartikeya, uh, the lord of Kritika is all about Lord Kartikeya. So when you talk about Kritika, you talk about scissors, you talk about cutting, you talk about penetrating into others' heart and understanding the emotions. And if the other placements are bad, they will play with you. And if they are good, they will understand your emotions and give you a very beautiful life. So basically uh, you talk about Kartikeya when you talk about Kritika. Kritikas are the seven wives of the seven celestial sages who actually gave a lot of training and nourishment to Lord Kartikeya, you know. So the peacock is another symbolism. The feathers of the male peacock relate to the exuberant martial nature of the masculine part of this particular nakshatra, and Kartikeya is, of course, the divine, the divine head of the soldiers, right? So there comes the martial nature comes. There comes the martial nature of this particular nakshatra. So a peacock is the chosen vehicle of the male ruling deity of this nakshatra, right? And so Kartikeya, when you talk about Kartikeya, you talk about Kritika. And also there is a link of Lord Krishna to this particular nakshatra, to an extent that Krishna also always he always wore a peacock feather, if you observe all the Puranic stories. So, and that too, he used to wear it on the top, the head, right? So, and one more thing is, Krishna is under the care of his foster parents, right? So foster parents, when you talk about foster parents, you talk about Kritika. Even Lord Kartikeya under foster mothers only, the seven wives of the seven celestial sages, the seven Kritikas. So fostering, foster parents. So this kind of energy is also related to Kartikeya, the Kritika Nakshatra. So Kartikeya is basically the commander of the celestial godly forces, is the primary ruling deity of this particular nakshatra. So he is one of the most prominent among Shiva's sons and was, raised by the Kritikas, basically, the seven wives of the seven celestial sages. So Kritika and Kartikeya have common roots, if you observe, right? And it is automatically implied that Kritikas are the foster mothers of a boy called Kartikeya. So this nakshatra is related to foster care, nurturing of all types. The foster care is Kritika. When you talk about Kritika, you talk about foster care. So the circumstances of Kartikeya's birth, if you see, there's a story, right? At one point in time, the gods had lost all of their territory to the demons, and in their desperation, they came to Lord Shiva and they asked for help. Uh, they asked, "Hey Shiva, these demons are really powerful and they took all our territory." So Shiva expressed his disability to intervene directly because he is also uh, a kind person towards daityas and the demons. So Shiva expressed his disability, but he promised that he would produce a son who would deal with their problems. So there are many different uh, problems for this godly beings before the birth of Kartikeya. So when Shiva promised, of course, he created a Lord Kartikeya. Then The demons had come to know that this particular child, Kartikeya, was born for destroying them and were searching all over to find him so that they could destroy him first. When Kartikeya was still a baby, that time itself, if they destroy, then he would not create any problem. That's their idea. But Kartikeya hidden from everyone's eyes. It's the seven wives of the seven rishis took care of Kartikeya actually. So as soon as he reached boyhood, he fulfilled his purpose by destroying the demonic forces and restoring the heavens for the gods. So if you observe the behavior of this, the essence or the whole point of the story, Kartikeya is he destructed all the demonic forces. He killed all the demonic forces. He cut all the demonic forces. And there's a point of nurturing and training by the seven Krittikas here, right? So the Krittika's nature and functioning, if you observe the Nakshatra's nature and functioning, you can see Krittika relates to the sense of imminent danger, because a baby, Kartikeya, right? And the demons were searching for him to kill, right? So there is an imminent danger, that kind of energy you can observe. And that imminent danger is here leading to some kind of secrecy, seclusion, and hiding. And then finally, it relates to the care and nurturing of the baby Kartikeya, and finally he came to his boyhood. So this is all the imminent danger that is leading to secrecy, seclusion, and hiding, and then nurturing, right? This whole chain is actually Krittika, basically. That is the Krittika's energy. So this is the reason why moon reaches its maximum exaltation in the second pada of this nakshatra, because moon is like mother. Moon is related to nourishment. The nourishment that Krittikas gave to Kartikeya is not a normal nourishment. It's a very, very great nourishment in the history of times, that the child when became boy, he is able to kill demonic forces. Look at the nourishment and the training, right? So that kind of nourishment and training given by mothers, right? So that's where moon is actually becoming, it's taking its exaltation in the second pada of Krittika. So Agni, the god presiding over the fire element in nature, is the secondary ruler of this particular nakshatra. So fieriness is definitely required for the combative and militaristic, any military activities, right? So Kartikeya is related to, he is the commander chief of the godly beings. Just imagine, so soldier, the military commanders are always related to, they have this kind of energy. So the fire symbolism, right? The cutters, this is all related to, in a variety of levels, it is related. In a physical level, if you observe, it represents the digestive fire. When you have, when you are very hungry, and the digestive fire is Krittika only. So, which converts the food we eat into usable energy, right? And this makes Krittika an energetic and physically active nakshatra as well. On a mental plane, if you observe, fire relates to the ability of the mind to assimilate new knowledge. So the mental fire constantly seeks knowledge and experience in order to keep itself burning, right? So this nakshatra is related to curiosity towards learning as well, right? Curiosity and inclination to explore unknown areas, that is Krittika. So on the astral level, if you observe, fire relates to the purifying principle, right? So it burns away the karma from the previous lives, so that a sense of unity with the original creative source can be achieved. Purification, when your soul is purified, it will go back to its original place. So Krittika is really, the fire is related to, Krittika's fire is related to purification, just how Lord Kartikeya killed all the demons and finally, gave heavens to the gods. So that is a kind of purification process. So the seven wives of the seven sages, they represent the actual stars of this particular constellation. This particular nakshatra has seven stars. Those seven stars are nothing but the seven wives of the seven sages, the seven celestial sages. So Krittika is a semi-maternal nakshatra, and all its maternal qualities come from these seven women, right? So these seven women can in a way be seen as the five senses, the mind and the consciousness. The five senses and the mind and the consciousness. You can relate these seven stars to these. The five plus one is mind, and that is six. So seventh one is the consciousness. Totally seven. So the child Kartikeya then represents the limitless perceptivity of the innocent mind. So Ashwini is a child born, and Bharani is a child who is eagerly waiting to explore the surroundings, and now the person is coming to the boyhood. He can actually, he is very much ready, his brain is very much ready for perceptivity, and the innocent mind is now able to understand so many things. He came to the boyhood and he killed all the hurdles. The hurdles are like demons. You can take that analogy also. Hurdles to become boy, right? When a baby is born, then it's becoming a kind of child, and then boy. So boyhood, Krittika is boyhood basically, right? So it's something like Kartikeya is someone who killed all the demonic forces, and he restored all the heavens to the gods. Similarly, the child, the infant, and the child, and then now the boy. Ashwini is infant, and then Bharani is child, and then you can see Krittika is a boyhood. He killed all the hurdles to become a boy, and now he became a boy, and his innocent mind is ready to understand the things, his curiosity to understand the things, right? That's where the curiosity to explore unknown areas, his mind is ready now to explore the unknown areas. So there are many stories associated with the reasons behind the separation of these wives from their husbands, but there are so many stories, but we are mainly focusing on the the Kritika's behavior, the nourishment, right? So the educational and institutional aspect of Krittika, because the seven Kritikas gave a lot of education, a lot of nourishment, a lot of care to Lord Kartikeya. So Krittika is a sort of celestial training ground or university where one receives training necessary to pursue one's life purpose. So Kritika's life purpose is to kill those demons, and he finally killed them. He achieved his purpose. The training he received, right, made him able to kill all the demonic forces. So Krittika, it's similar roots if you observe, and this one word sets the tone of Kritika's basic nature and functioning. Basically, Krittika, critical. So Kritika's piercing quality lends itself to the criticizing and fault finding part of human nature. They can find n number of faults in you. They can find, because see, when you become a boy, you will try to ask the question, why this is like this, why this tree is like this. So you will ask all the questions, right? So that kind of that is the basic nature of the fault finding nature, the criticizing nature of Krittika. So Krittika aims to get to the root of any action or situation, and consequently it comes across all of the imperfections which often lie between the apparent and the real behavior. What is apparent behavior, what is the real behavior, they can understand. See, if you go to a Krittika person, he will tell you all your faults, n number of faults in you, he can tell you, right? So Krittika doesn't tolerate imperfections because it sees them as obstacles in achieving its goals, right? So Krittika is critical. They can understand your faults very, very well. They can penetrate into your heart and try to understand your emotions, and if other placements are bad, they will play with your emotions, and if other placements are good, yes, they will try to help you to improve your emotional balance, and they will try to make you better. So that's about Kritika Nakshatra for now. We'll try to talk about it in our next upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video.